Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, here for another episode of TMG Takes the Field. Our weekly, try to get it out every Tuesday, depends on the week, show where I talk about sports. Pretty exciting week. We had a really big game happen. Very big game. Some might say it was a super game. Played in a dome, so a super dome or a Super Bowl or something like that. Um, and then, of course, we had trade deadline finish up. It was like right after I actually finished the show, which we went over all the trades. Nothing happened right after I got off the air. But we finally got to see a lot of those players who were in those trades play with their new team. I also had some fun games there. So definitely quite a bit of stuff to talk about. And of course, I'm going to start it off by the NFL. We did have the Super Bowl this past Sunday. The Rams taking on the Bengals. It was a very exciting game. Recency bias might have something to do with it. I think it was one of the better Super Bowls, especially of recent. Um, you look at last year, the Bucks beating the Chiefs. That was all right. Chiefs beat the 49ers. That was okay. Okay. And we was right before that was the Rams Patriots, which everybody hated, and then right before that was the Eagles beating the Patriots, which I will go down and say is the best of all time, mainly because I'm an Eagles fan, and watching the Eagles win is always better. But that is all speculation. We can't say if it was the best of all time. We can just say, hey, it was a good game. Both these teams came to play. Very interesting to see because the Bengals, who have had a sneaky defense, I'll say I haven't been a huge fan of their defense. Actually watching them play, because they stopped Patrick Mahomes. They shut him down for the second half of two games. They shut down Derrick Henry, who had just gotten off an injury, who had been rested for months. Um, Shut down Ryan Tannehill, which Ryan Tannehill's not the greatest, let's be honest with ourselves. But still came to play. Definitely did a great job stopping Matthew Stafford. There was that OBJ injury, which do the Rams still struggle with OBJ not playing? Had he been playing, would they have been doing better? Of course, that's all speculation. I do think that definitely hurt them, especially looking at that second interception. The guy Stafford threw it to. Let me get his name real quick. I said it's a hard name. I know that. Skoranek. That would have been OBJ. That second interception he threw, and that hit Skoranek's hand, and then he wasn't able to hold on to it. It ended up going up in the air to where their Bengals cornerback was able to intercept it. So that definitely affected it, but when it all comes down to it, it does not matter. Matthew Stafford went 26 of 40 for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Cam Akers led the team in rushing, 13 carries with 21 yards. Kupp had 1 rush for 7 yards. Darrell Henderson had 7 yards. Stafford had 6. Sony Michel had 2. And then receiving, Kupp had 92 yards with 2 touchdowns, 8 receptions. OBJ, 2 receptions, 52 yards, and a touchdown. Hopkins, their backup tight end, 4 receptions for 47 yards. Darrell Henderson, 3 receptions for 43 yards. And then as far as the Bengals go, Joe Burrow, 22 of 23, 263 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Joe Mixon also had that 6-yard touchdown pass to T. Higgins. Joe Mixon led the team in rushing, 15 carries, 72 yards. Jamar Chase had a rush for 4 yards. Burrow had a rush for 3 yards. And then Samaje Perine had 2 rushes but did not get any yards. For receiving, T. Higgins with 4 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 5 receptions, 49 yards. Boyd, 5 receptions, 48 yards. Thomas, 1 reception, 17 yards. Uzama, 2 receptions of 11 yards. But then another thing to talk about is the defense. They sacked Joe Burrow 7 times, 6 of which came in the second half. Donald collecting 2 of those. So that their defense definitely stepped up, especially the end of the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, and then just getting into the 2-minute offense. Really high tempo, throw the ball quickly, don't step back, because the Rams line wasn't able to stop them, stop the Bengals defense, and of course, like I said, the Bengals offensive line couldn't stop the Rams. So really, it comes down to, a lot of people have been talking, will the Bengals make it back? I think they will if they keep that core team together. I don't see anywhere anytime soon where Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase will not be on the Bengals. You got to keep those two, Mixon, Higgins, Boyd, like that core offensive team. You have to keep. You have to keep the defense. Like, keep your team as intact as you can. You can get rid of Eli Apple. The guy's trash. You can get rid of him. Other than that, keep the core team around, but you need to protect your quarterback. That last play of the game, pictures are coming out. Jamar Chase had Jalen Ramsey beat. Joe Burrow just could not throw the ball because he had no time. So yeah, you have to keep your team together, but you have to get a line. And if they are able to capitalize, a lot of people are saying if they get 3 offensive linemen, I'd say probably 2. I know their right side is a little bit weaker, especially their guard. Sure up that right side. Also get some secondary, get a cornerback to kind of take the place of Eli Apple, because he's all right. He's all right, but he's not as good as he thinks he is. And then, yeah, this team can win a Super Bowl. As far as the Rams go, Eric Weddle, their safety, I believe, he retired last year. They ended up talking him into coming back with the team, so he came back for a year. Tore his pec during the game. He is retiring again. So, Eric Weddle, congratulations on a great season. Congratulations on a great career. Enjoy retirement. Try to stay retired this time. There's a lot of talks on if OBJ, Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford, or Sean McVay are all retiring. I don't know. I mean, hey, they just won the Super Bowl. We'll see. Time tells. With Brady, it had been, I mean, the guy's 45 years old, I believe. There had been a lot of talk before that, and just hearing him afterwards, you knew he was done. I don't see it with any of these guys. There was their report with McVay because he was talking about he didn't know how long he'd be able to do it. I don't know. I don't know if that's him saying he's done. I don't believe so. I hope not, because this Rams team can be a dynasty. Probably not 5-6 years of success, but definitely 3 years of being one of the best teams in the NFL. As long as they can keep their core team together. Right, so that's always the tricky thing, is keeping everybody happy. Everybody wants to get paid, so that's a lot easier said than done. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get done with the NFL. Of course, once some more coaching hirings are pretty much done. The Vikings did finalize on the Rams head coach, or Rams offensive coordinator. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, and I'm also not looking at it. So that can be finalized now. But we'll definitely, if any of the Rams or Bengals want to retire, we'll be hearing about that here pretty soon. we'll kind of hear free agency news. A lot of talks about Carson Wentz. As y'all know me, I'm an Eagles fan. I love Carson Wentz. Um, yes, he didn't win us the Super Bowl, but he got us to the number one seed, and literally was ran for a touchdown on a torn ACL. Like, I know he hasn't been the same since, but everyone is talking about his season in the last two games, which the Raiders are a sneaky good team. They made the playoffs. And then as far as the Jaguars, yes, they were the worst team in the NFL. Look what they did to the Bills. The Bills went to Jacksonville and lost. It was like 9-6. Josh Allen threw an interception at Josh Allen. It was Josh Allen's first career interception. That's not confusing at all. But no, there's a reason that that team is called Saxonville. There's a reason that team made an AFC Championship. Yes, a lot of the team is different, um, but still, like that team has always had a sneaky good defense, and they had like two games that they showed up at. One just so happened to be against the Colts in the last game of the season, but also the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville in 5 years. That's not a Carson problem. Will getting a better quarterback help? I don't know, probably. But I don't think he is the problem. He is the one problem on the team. Honestly, I don't know what the one problem is on the team. Maybe get some more pass rush to help out DeForest Buckner. Maybe build off of that O line a little bit. Get a good tight end. I love Jack Doyle and I love Mo Alley Cox, but no one's having them as their starting tight end on a franchise. So we'll see. March 12th, I believe, is whenever a lot of the free agency stuff is going to start happening. So we'll definitely, in the next couple months, be seeing a lot of that stuff. And of course, draft is coming up in April. So a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, but right now we are done with the NFL. Which means now we can talk about the NBA. Um, as far as news goes, not a ton. Again, we broke down all the trades. Biggest thing, Ben Simmons just got traded to the Brooklyn Nets. In the two games that have happened since then, he has not played. He has cited it is due to mental health reasons. Probably one of the reasons why he wasn't playing with the 76ers. And just thought of not wanting to be in that organization anymore. That would help. So of course, you never know exactly what's going on. Mental health is a very important thing. Ben Simmons, I do wish you the best. Hopefully, you're in a much better situation than you were. A lot of people are talking about him returning. It's in middle of March where the Nets play the 76ers. Because of course that'd be just a crazy thing to happen. Of course, the Nets, who pretty much has just been Kevin Durant, who doesn't even play all the time because of injuries. But Kyrie Irving hasn't really been playing. He got activated in the middle of the season, but due to vaccine reasons, he can't play in Brooklyn. He is only available on road games. So having Ben Simmons there probably is going to help that team out. We will see. As far as standings go, so right now the Miami Heat are number one in the Eastern Conference at 37-20. Chicago right behind 37-21. Cleveland 35-22. Philadelphia 34-22. Milwaukee 35-23. Boston 33-25. Toronto 31-25. Brooklyn 30-27. Charlotte 29-29. Atlanta 26-30. Washington 26-30. New York 25-33. Of course, the top eight is Brooklyn and up, which Brooklyn did just finally end. They had an 11-game losing streak. Hero of the game was Seth Curry, Steph's younger brother, who they just picked up off of that 76ers trade. So it is kind of looking like it was a good trade. In the Western Conference, Phoenix Suns with the best record in basketball right now, 46-10. Golden State right behind 42-16. Memphis at 40-18. Utah 36-21. Dallas 33-24. Denver 32-25, Minnesota 30-27, the Clippers 29-30, top 8. The Lakers 26-31, Portland 24-34, New Orleans 23-34, San Antonio 22-36, Sacramento 22-37. Speaking of New Orleans, they had a game yesterday. Who did they play again? I forgot who they played. They played the Raptors, and they actually had a really good game. CJ McCollum, definitely a good pickup. Is it enough to make the playoffs? They might make it. They might be one of like the last team, but probably not, unless they can spark an amazing comeback. As far as games that are going on right now the Mavericks are beating the Heat 96-91. The Hawks are beating the Cavaliers 122-114. The Celtics are demolishing the 76ers 130-79. The Bucks are beating the Pacers 91-85. The Hornets are beating the Timberwolves 72-65. The Grizzlies are beating the Pelicans 91-78. And then a game that has yet to start, but it's going to start in about 12 minutes. The Clippers are taking on the Suns. So if you're betting, you got 12 minutes to bet on that game. Really, that is it as far as NBA goes. So next we are going to move on to the world of college basketball. We are winding down the season. Going to go ahead and break down the current rankings. After their loss, Auburn did drop. Gonzaga is number 1. Auburn is number 2. Arizona is number 3. Kentucky is number 4. Purdue is also number 4. Or not also number 4. They're number 5. Kansas number 6. Baylor 7. Providence 8. Duke is 9. Villanova is 10. Texas Tech is 11. Illinois 12. UCLA 13. Houston 14. Wisconsin 15. Tennessee 16. USC 17. Ohio State 18. Michigan State 19. Texas 20. Murray State 21. Wyoming is 22. Arkansas is 23. Connecticut 24. Alabama is at 25. Right now, we do have some games that ended. Penn State beat Michigan State 62-58. Duke beat Wake Forest 76-74. Was reported Coach K not feeling well at the end of that game, so he did miss the second half. And then final in overtime, Texas beat Oklahoma 80-78. A couple games still going on right now. Villanova and Providence. Villanova is up 67-64. Ohio State is beating Minnesota 37-29. Tennessee is beating Kentucky 37-24. Indiana is beating Wisconsin 29-25. Wyoming is beating New Mexico. Wyoming was called to Michigan. I have no idea. 33-30. And Arkansas is beating Missouri 44-27. So those are the games going on right now. So again, be sure to try to bet real quick if you can. I know sometimes you can get in on it while it's coming up, but sometimes you can't. Just depends on the game. I know one of those games I bet on that is not going my way. We'll see about the others that I bet on. But we are not a gambling show. We do not help you with your gambling. We do not tell you what bets to make, what bets not to make. Although I will say I made like $7 off of the Super Bowl. So maybe we'll get into that. Probably not, but we'll see. Not gonna happen. Matt Beer, that might be a fun show. Me and you just talked about odds and stuff like that and what we would recommend as far as betting goes. But that is not something we're going to do right now. That is just in the pipeline that we will talk about later. That's everything I have for the show right now. Again, not a lot going on as far as news. NBA, we are kind of starting to get into the middle of the season. I believe it is next week is when the All-Star game is. I will take a look at that real quick. Okay, no, it is this Sunday, which means I believe it is this Saturday will be the NBA skills competition, which will definitely be a fun thing to watch. I highly recommend it. Um, if you're not able to watch it live, set your DVR to record it because you will not be able to watch a recording of it. I know I've had this happen many times uh, while I did not have cable with the DVR. So try to watch it live. But if not, find a way to record it. And if there's a way to watch not like the crappy highlights on YouTube, like an actual replay of it, let me know because I need to know. But we'll kind of break all that stuff down afterwards. And then, of course, the All Star game this Sunday. We'll kind of break down how that game went. Um, I'm sorry I didn't break down the very awkward Kevin Durant not drafting James Harden, even though they were teammates. But now they're not teammates, so it's not as awkward. But anyway, I do want to give a quick shout out. Marcel and Katie, y'all are about to have your baby. So turn me on. So your baby, first thing little Finley hears is me talking about sports. It'll be great. If you need, I can do some like show tunes. See if that helps. Or whatever. But for everyone at TMG Entertainment and TMG Trivia, I feel I have the right to say this. Congrats on the birth of your son, Finley, whenever he decides to come out. Sounding like it'll probably be tomorrow. So if you're watching this on repeat, it'll probably be today or yesterday, all depending on what when you're watching this, or 5 weeks ago. We'll see. But if you did like the show, please click a little thumbs up button. It looks just like this. Helps me out a ton. Lets me know you liked it. There is a little dislike button. Please don't click that. That's mean. Leave a comment. Let me know your favorite part about the show. Something I can work on if you did not like it, because that's nicer than leaving a dislike button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We have a ton of great stuff going on. Aaron Knoll, who pops up at the very end of my show last week, is doing Movie Battleground, our movie debate stuff. He is finishing up with his tournament, so be sure to check out. I believe he's airing the semifinals right now. It's hard because I know the outcomes of most of the fights, so I don't want to spoil anything. But he is doing a great tournament, and also some random matches that are just thrown in there for the fun of it. Also, Colton Roberts has the Supernova Show. It's everything geek related. So he's probably not going to talk about Book of Boba Fett this week because that ended last week. But he did talk about it. Or at least that was in the title. And he'll probably be talking about the season finale of Peacemaker, which comes out on Thursday. Also, be sure to check out our sister channel, TMG Trivia. Kevin Poss, I believe, just posted the finals of the TM Geek Tournament. If you haven't watched that, watch it. It's amazing. No matter what the outcome was, there was a great Cinderella story. One everyone thought would win, but just because of records, he was ranked a little bit lower than one that no one thought was going to be in his situation, regardless of his seeding. Because I want to say it was actually seated pretty high. She was seated higher than the other person. Both of y'all know who I'm talking about. But check out his finals to it. But then also check out the TMG singles tournament. That's something that I'm doing. We're having some great matches come out. I just released the last one, which was Ryan Permis and Jake Tato. Somebody said that was like the best one yet, so that makes me feel good. Be on the lookout. We have Calvin Shepard and Robbie Moore, I believe. It's Robbie. Coming out here pretty soon, and then also Jeremy Adams, Robert Kastner. And then we have the small break from TMG singles. We have a TMG team's number one contender match, the BS Bros. Steven and Bruce Boyd deciding to use his number one contender shot for winning the fantasy football league on a teams match. Well, they will as they take on a mystery opponent. Don't worry, they know who they're playing. Their opponent knows that they're playing, but you won't know because I want you to be invested in this. I want you to think, I wonder who they are playing. That'll be an exciting match, and then shortly after we'll get the championship match out. So that'll be fun to watch, and we'll see if the Detonators can hold on to the title that they haven't defended in almost 2 years now. So hopefully they can defend it because that'd be the longest title reign with no defenses ever. Might be a little sad, but we'll see. But anyway, for everyone with TMG Trivia, TMG Entertainment, I'm your 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, asking, do you really wanna? Do you really want to taste it? Just kidding. If you understood the reference, you're welcome. But stay safe, make smart choices, or don't. I don't care. Not your dad. But I could be your papa.